What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm your host, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
Look, we're going to get right into it, because perhaps the best presentation of video game trailers that I can remember happened last week at the Game Awards, despite all odds to the contrary. Jeff cooked at the TGAs. I dare say.
I didn't get a chance to watch all of it in real time. I was watching it, but like I had it on the background because it was a 3-hour show, man. Like
It was.
this
Yes.
is really long. Like 3.5 if you include like the pre-show or whatever, right? So, and it came out on Thursday. Like you can't have a 3-hour show on a school night, guys. Like I'm not gonna be
I mean, technically, the Emmys and the Academy Awards do it all the time. So,
yeah, they do it on a Sunday. But yeah, I did have most of it on in the background, and then I caught what I missed off of various websites giving recaps and stuff. But from what I did watch, this is the best one that they have done.
mm-hmm.
It is not lost. Look, you say what you want about Jeff Keighley, but the man is genuine, and he is also he knows what he's doing, and he knows that he knows what he's doing,
Yes.
and he will let you know in the most snide like little like way, right? Like the whole Muppet thing was, him basically responding to all the criticism that the Game Awards have been levied at the Game Awards, right? And but like a Canadian, he took it in stride, but like at the same time, like
I mean, look though,
I know what you're doing.
my the number one quality that I look for in a person to judge their caliber as a human being is the ability to self-deprecate.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's one of the things I've talked about this on Look Forward. It's one of the things that makes me incredibly distrustful about the guy that's about to be the president again, is the fact that he's incapable of making fun of himself
Yeah.
or laughing ever in public. So like that's a weird thing to me. So the fact that Jeff specifically brought on the most notable like cranks in pop culture, specifically to take the piss out of himself, is a-okay in my book.
But at the same time, like he's taking the piss out of like everybody else because like who do those two old cantankerous geezers represent, right? They represent us, not you and I, but like anybody who has ever laid any criticism to the Game Awards ever. You know what I mean? And it's just like that wasn't lost on me. Maybe I'm reaching, right? Maybe I'm reaching.
I mean, Skillup
But-
said the same thing, that he suspected that Jeff wrote all those jokes himself just to actually make fun of us for making fun of him. I don't necessarily believe that, but I'll tell you what, it's one thing to do that, right, and then to miss like to flop on the show itself. It's quite
Right.
another thing to do
That's
that,
the
and
big
then
thing.
and then knock it out of the park to where he will not be hearing any of those criticisms for the next 12
Right.
months. I would imagine.
Right, and like you said, that is the difference, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the difference. Any lesser person would an American would be like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna make fun of you, and I'm gonna do what I want to do anyway," right? But good old Canada, he's he took it in stride, and yeah, this was the from what I saw. That my one criticism with the Game Awards in particular is that this is a 3.5 hour show, and when it comes to the awards, like they have the award block, right?
Right.
Okay, here's an awards block where
I
we're gonna
was
be like
I was about
best
to make
indie
a
game, bam,
I was
best
about to
fighting
make
game,
a
bam.
snide I was about to make a snide joke that before we actually covered the Game Awards, we should first cover the least important part of the show, the awards themselves. But you're right. I mean that is the downside. But again, like I think it's also a bit of self awareness on Jeff as well. The fact that he understands that like why those awards are like the impetus for the show and the reason why everyone's gathered there to celebrate. It's not why people are tuning in, right? Like that's why people
Yeah,
in the audience are there. But if all they did was an award show, and they didn't, have all the world premieres, I don't know that I would watch it honestly, because I don't watch the other, major award shows in entertainment because, that's not to say that the people that are honored at these things aren't deserving, but as an award show, it's simply one of many. Like I know that the Game Awards has sort of become like the de facto default game award show, but I put the same value of the Game Awards choices as I do like Giant Bomb's end of the year game of the year stuff or Polygon's end of the year game of the year stuff. Like I think they're all equally valid. Obviously, the Game Awards kind of works as a Metacritic of sorts in that regard, where they have the judges on their panel are from all sorts of different of these games media outlets. So I guess it's kind of more of an aggregate representation, which is why it's kind of the default. But yeah, like if it was just the awards, like I'm tuning in for the world premieres. I'm sorry, like
look,
that's just the fact of the
look,
matter,
I'm not mad at you.
right?
I'm not mad at you. Like I'm one of the few people that actually enjoys award shows, because I want to see like I want to see artists get credit for hard work, and I want to see what they, it just, I don't know, it's a good feeling to me, and I know it's a bunch of rich people giving each other gold statues, right? I get it, but at the same time, like some people work hard for that recognition.
Right.
And but at the same time, but like on the other hand, I'm like Goro over here, right? On the other hand, I 100% understand that like people don't want to see that. That's
Right.
why the Academy Awards and the Emmys and the Golden Globes and stuff like that, they all go down every year
Mm-hmm.
because nobody wants to see just that, right? Like, and video games are such a they present themselves with such a unique opportunity to, you know, like the Academy Awards can't get away with. Here's a movie trailer for a movie that's coming out
No.
in like they can't get away with that, but video games can, and the people that love video games love them, and they love hype, right? Like we've been playing games for 40 years. Like it's all everything about it is hype, right? And yeah, like that's the unique position that the Game Awards are in. So look, I get it, and we joke about like it being the commercial awards, more on commercials a little later, but you know I don't know, I enjoyed it, and this was the best one that they've done.
Yeah.
So
That
congratulations
is that
to
is
Jeff Keighley.
undisputed. So yeah, the awards, and also weirdly enough, there wasn't probably the least controversy that I can recall, at least in years recent, as far as like the award winners. I don't think there was anyone that was just like, holy shit, that one really, like that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Starting with game of the year, was Astrobot. Kind of surprising, I think. I think most people thought that it would probably come down between like Metaphor or Balatro, or maybe that's just our selfish
I
preconceptions
think
because
that's I think that's us
yeah.
because Metaphor, as much as I like it, it is a niche title with a niche art style, and Balatro is as much as people like to think that they're like, oh yeah, I love indie games, like nah, you kind of it's it's a great game, it's a phenomenal game, but it's not like I saw someone say, why did Astrobot win when Black Myth Wukong was there? I'm sure Black Myth Wukong cost way more money to make than Astrobot, and people were like, bro, like the amount of money doesn't equal quality, right?
Was the person that you were talking to the director of Black Myth Wukong who made waves today by talking
It was
about?
a comment under that story.
Yeah, I don't even understand like what the criteria is. Like the criteria is make a great game that people think is the best game of the year. Like that's the criteria. Like I'm sorry, you guys were probably really only there because of all the support thrown behind it. Like that's just, like I haven't played back with Wukong, not to shit on it. The game is perfectly like a good game from by all accounts, but it's not like it's not that new. Like you know what I mean? Like it's not like a genre reconception. Like it's it's basically like a Devil May Cry with kind of maybe a more of a bent towards the Souls game. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
So
everyone that I've talked to that has played it really likes it.
mhm.
That doesn't necessarily mean I would like it though, because like the people that I've talked to that have played it that really like it, my tastes don't usually
Don't
align
align.
with theirs. Yeah,
Right. And again, like that game got a spot that, Helldivers 2 possibly could have been in the mix for, or Infinite Wealth could have been in the mix for, both games that I think were at least critically, you know, above Black Myth Wukong. So be happy to be nominated, dude. Like don't like you don't have to go piss over someone else's parade.
yeah.
Just
I heard
because you're
someone
upset.
else. I heard someone else also said that there may have been something lost in translation
Yeah,
in the
fair.
intent that the intent that that quote was delivered in was more of a, oh man, gosh, I wish I knew how to crack this, right? As
Hmm.
opposed to what the fuck is this,
Right.
right?
Which completely totally fair. Like that is certainly a possibility for sure. But yeah, like I have no qualms with Astrobot winning game of the year at all. It was a immaculately crafted game. Like I said, I think what I said last week is that in terms of platformers, I would put it second as far as 3D platformers, I should say. I would put it second only to Mario Odyssey. Like can't think of one that I would place above it. Even Mario 64, like I think sits maybe just a hair below Astrobot. But then again, I haven't played Mario 64 in a while, so maybe if I replayed that, I'd be like, oh, actually, like Mario 64 is brilliant. But it's in the conversation.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
in the
So
conversation.
third best
Right.
3D
Still
platformer of
still
all
pretty
time.
still pretty good. Still pretty good, I feel. Best ongoing game went to Helldivers 2, which I feel like is as good as they could have expected, considering that they got maybe shafted, you could say, out of a couple different nominations, depending on your opinion of Helldivers 2. Art direction went to Metaphor Refantasio. I was and narrative did as well. I'm glad to see them get recognized for that. Score and music went to Final Fantasy, which fine.
All right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with
All
that.
right.
Best audio went to Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I gotta be honest. When is Call of Duty gonna get its flowers for this category? I say what you will about Call of Duty, like the game, the soundscape of the game sounds incredible.
So
Always.
best audio is just like their version of sound design, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if Hellblade wasn't in this year, then it would have gotten it. I've been playing Black Ops 6, by the way.
Oh, have you?
I bought a month of I
Ah,
bought a
okay.
month of
Oh, so you can play indie, but you're like, hey, well, I'm
so
here.
I can play indie. Yeah. And, yes, tangent. What I haven't played Call of Duty in a very very long time, and
Right.
I after the 15 minutes of updates that my Xbox had to do because I haven't played it in a year. I downloaded Call of Duty, but then it brought me to like a launcher, like a Call of
Yeah.
Duty launcher.
Yeah.
It's just a platform now.
Basically, I mean, because you got the campaign, you got zombies, you got multiplayer, and you got Warzone. So you got the
But it
whole.
was like, here's Modern Warfare 3, here's Modern Warfare 2. It was all the Call of Duties.
Well, I'm pretty sure if you clicked on any of the other ones, you'd have to pay for them. Well, actually, no, maybe not because it's all in Game Pass. So like
Yeah, it's all on
they're
Game
all
Pass.
just
So
there.
it's just like,
You'd have
it's just
well
wild.
that's better than what they used to do because apparently the big gripe before is that like Call of Duty would require like 250 gigs because it was installing like everything, right? And I think this year
Oh,
the
it
big
tried.
yeah, oh, I'm sure. And I think the big improvement that they made this year is that now you only have to install the aspects of the game that you actually want to play. You don't have to install the whole fucking thing. So like if you're not ever going to play Warzone or Zombies, you don't have to waste your hard drive space with them.
Yeah. Yeah, they tried. They were like, it was like, do you want to install it? And I was just like, let me see. Let me see what it says if I say I want to a la carte this thing.
Yeah.
And they had literally everything checked. I'm like, yo, I'm not gonna go
Oh,
back and
one yeah,
play
1000
Modern Warfare 3.
1000%. I'll be when we're back from holiday break. I'll be curious to see what your thoughts on that were in general. Are you
Yeah.
going to play just the campaign, or are you actually going to dick
No,
around
I'm
with
just gonna play
multiplayer as
campaign.
well?
I'm
Okay.
not gonna. No, I'm 40. I'm 44 years old.
Okay,
I
well,
don't have the.
I don't actually care that much. The multiplayer, believe it or not, is what I'm actually interested in for Call of
I
Duty.
might try it. I might try it just because you're curious. I might try it.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm just here for. I heard it was like a spy flick.
Yeah, my
And
understanding is that that's kind of where the Black Ops series has gone, is to be more of like a covert ops kind of thing.
yeah,
And people are like kind of freaking out because it takes place in like like the aftermath of the Gulf War. So like modern contemporary political figures that you and I are very familiar with start
yeah,
to like show up in these games and
yeah,
stuff like that. So
yeah. People are realizing that they're fucking old.
right.
It's like, but this didn't happen that long. It was 30 years ago. What are
That's
you
right.
talking about?
That's something, all right. Baltimore did win Best Independent Game and Debut Indie Game. Best RPG did go to Metaphor ReFantasio. Those are the big ones. I mean, Tekken 8 won Best Fighting. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. Baldur's Gate won Best Community Support, which is basically just an award to be like, hey, like we want to express our love towards Baldur's Gate 3 for a second year in a row. Which look, I've got no problem with that. I think Final Fantasy 14 has gotten its flowers for that in the past, and I think No Man's Sky has won that in the past for its like to complete the redemption arc. So all good there. But yeah, that's kind of those are the big talking points from the awards themselves, which I think was a pretty good year. Again, another stacked year, and based on what we're going to talk about in the next segment, 2025 seems to not be letting up whatsoever, assuming that a lot of these games that we saw make it out next year. Any particular snubs, things that you think they got especially wrong, or anything like that for you?
No, not really. I didn't. What won Best RPG?
Metaphor.
Yeah, Metaphor won Best RPG and Best Narrative. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, those made sense. Game of the Year. Look, I was curious about Astrobot. I missed it on the Black Friday sale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about it, but I'm not curious enough to spend like $60, $70 on it.
It wouldn't surprise me to see it on an after Christmas promotion. It's certainly worth it. I mean, again, if you liked Astro's Playroom, you will like it. Like literally every level is like you played Mario Wonder, right, last year.
Yeah.
So like, you know how like Mario Wonder was just like every single level had a new idea, and
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I know there's like 60 levels in here, but we're gonna come up with a new idea for each of them. You're gonna love it because of all the new stuff. Astrobot's the exact same way. Like every single level has like a different mechanic or a different hook or a way to use a mechanic that you had used previously in the game and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good
Yeah.
shit.
All these, I'm looking at all the categories. Everything that won should have won.
Yes. No, no disagreement there. Again, nothing sticks out.
Except for score music. Final Fantasy didn't need to win
Yeah, I
score
mean,
music.
but it's not a bad score, right? You know what I
Not,
mean?
it's not a bad
Yeah, it's
score. It's
not a
just,
bad
it
score.
sounds, it, I think Metaphor was so unique I just thought it was something different that was also good,
Yes,
as
I
opposed
agree.
to something safe that was good.
All right, well, let's take a quick break, and then we will come back to talk about the smorgasbord of trailers with which we were presented. So the reason that people were buzzing about the Game Awards the following day was not because of the awards themselves, but because of all the trailers that we saw. Now, we're not going to go through these comprehensively, and we might give a couple of them just very short shift, and we'll talk more about the ones that really got people a talking. I do want to get your thoughts on the horror Pac-Man themed Metroidvania trailer that they showed off for Shadow Labyrinth.
So a lot of people might think that is a bit odd, right? And I wasn't blown away. I wasn't like, oh my God, right? I wasn't taken aback by it because I was taken aback by it the first time I saw it on December 10th
Oh, you've seen it before.
when this have you heard of a series called Love, Death and Robots
I have
on
heard of it.
Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, it was a series created by director Tim Miller, and it is just a bunch of short stories featuring very unique CG characters, right? A spinoff was created called Secret Level, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Oh,
First,
that show. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, so it's basically that with video game IP, right? And there's a Warhammer one that plays pretty much like you think it would, right?
Hmm.
Like a Warhammer story. But then they get into video game properties that are a little bit esoteric, like Pac-Man, right? And it's like, well, what the heck can you make out of Pac-Man? And it was this.
Okay.
It was this, this Puck, the actual Pac-Man is manipulating people to go to a certain place, and then something happens.
Hmm.
And so yeah, I was like, oh, I did the Leonardo DiCaprio thing. I recognize that.
Very cool.
So yeah, it's different. It's different. Um, but we'll see. I don't mind a Metroid style, you know, maze game.
I mean, we're certainly at no shortage of them right now.
Yeah, yeah. You better be different.
Right. There's a new side-scrolling Ninja Gaiden game coming out this summer, which I believe is from Dotemu, who's done like a lot of the beat 'em up, new games like Street Rage 4 and the Turtles beat 'em up, which have all been very good. So that should be excellent. A lot of people were shocked to see the next game from Slowclap, who are the makers of Sifu, is going to be a 5v5 online soccer game called Rematch. But this looks cool. Like I was very intrigued when I saw this. I heard it described as Rocket League, but with soccer, like Rocket League, but with people, which is very funny because of course Rocket League is just soccer,
It's just
but
soccer
with
with
cars.
cars.
Yeah, right. So we're having a real Tomb Raider, Uncharted Tomb Raider moment here. I feel like with this. So looking forward to that. The big the first of many megatons was a 6 minute reveal trailer for The Witcher 4, which is now in full development over at CD Projekt Red. The trailer showed off a grown Ciri now is going to be the main protagonist. The trailer looked excellent. I am bummed out that my immediate thought upon seeing this was like all the fucking knuckle draggers that were going to be like the guy sweating over the two buttons over like it's cool that Ciri's the Witcher, but you know play as woman bad like they don't know which one to
Right.
pick.
Right. Right.
And that was the exact reaction that a lot of troglodytes had online the next day.
Yeah, that's fucking wild, man. Fucking wild. Jesus Christ. It's
Uh,
okay to have women in your games as long as they are, second fiddle
yeah,
and need to be saved by
relegated to sidekick
get-gos.
status. Yeah, God forbid we have to actually control them. Oh, can you imagine?
Jesus Christ. You would think that these dudes would love it because it's literally controlling a woman's actions.
Also, like it's a beloved character from the series proper. You know what I mean? Like you would
Yeah,
think
it's
that
not
it's
like some
cool,
brand new like it's not like some brand new character.
right?
You know what I mean? I don't know, man. You can't please these people.
Arguably, the biggest announcement was the surprise reveal of a new cooperative standalone Elden Ring game called Night Rain. And a lot of From enthusiasts were kind of freaking out watching the trailer because they saw a lot of like Dark Souls related things in the trailer. Well, we came to find out after the show, it was teased in the trailer, but we got more information, that this is going to be a cooperative, like online, almost like a roguelike game, because the kind of the conceit of the game is that you and your crew have 3 in-game days to, you know, get powerful and fight enemies and bosses and stuff like that, in order to, you know, take on like a final challenge that happens like at the end of the 3 days. And it's not like you're not building a character over the course of like your entire session, like you're building a character just for that session. And so this to me is very exciting. You know me, I love a roguelike,
Hmm.
and kind of seeing that combined with Elden Ring is very cool. And I can imagine like this. I don't think this is going to be like a $60 game. Like I can imagine this coming out at like $30, and kind of being like a, you know, like a holdover that they see people trying to, you know, people are trying to play. It's very. I'm excited to learn more about it. So
All right.
they teased, not really teased. They showed more of a, I'd call it a conceptual trailer for a new game from Fumito Ueda, who is the guy behind Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, to show his next game, which has just started being developed, called Project Robot. And so the trailer doesn't really tell you a whole lot about the game. If I didn't know anything about it, I could have identified after watching this trailer who made it, probably
Yeah.
just because it has that same high concept. What is your what are your thoughts on his on his prior works?
I never played Eco.
Okay.
I did play Shadow of the Colossus because I got hooked into the idea of, hey, these bosses are like walking puzzles, that like walking platforming type puzzles that you need to figure out. And I enjoyed it for that aspect. The narrative, not so much. You know, the fact that it was a secret prequel, I guess, did nothing for me.
Mhm.
But it was interesting to play. This new game, I mean, I'm not. I enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it enough to be like, here's a tease of the next game. I'm 100% all in. I need I need a little more.
I will admit I've never really been a fan of his games. I tried playing Shadow of the Colossus. I played through a couple bosses. I really fell off of it. I understand why they're so beloved by a lot of people and why they should be appreciated. But they're just not for me. So unless like this
Yeah.
game comes out and has like amazing gameplay, like moment to moment gameplay, I don't think it's gonna do a whole lot for me personally. But we'll see. It's probably a long
Yeah.
time away. So
Yeah. Probably a very long time.
Joseph Ferris and his studio Hazelight announced their newest co-op game called Split Fiction, which is actually coming out in just a couple of months. And this shows a very action centric cooperative experience that we've come to expect from Hazelight. I'm going to be honest with you, this looks very intriguing to me. Just because the kind of whole like it's a fantasy game and it's a sci-fi game all rolled
That's
into
it.
one. I'm just like,
That's
well,
it.
my wife loves fantasy and I love sci-fi, and these are two great tastes that taste great together. Like, so her and I might end up checking this one out when it comes out. So
Yeah, I didn't play. I didn't play the his first game because my wife's not cool like yours, and she's not.
his first game, he's had 3 so far.
Damn. Well, where the fuck have I been?
I
I
don't
haven't
know.
played It Takes Two.
Okay.
Did he do the? Is he the one that did that jailbreak game?
Yep, a way out, and then he also did Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons as well.
Okay.
So
All right. Yeah. Now I haven't played any of them
yeah,
because
all bangers apparently, like
Yeah.
the way people talk about them.
So, but I'm super curious about. But look, can you play those games solo? You can you?
You cannot, but it has like online matchmaking.
Yeah. I don't want to play a.
I'll tell you what.
that
If I
type of
get
game.
Split Fiction, you and I can play it because you won't like they don't force each player to own a copy of the game. Like one player can own the game and both people can play. So maybe if I get that,
Oh.
then you and I might have to check that out together.
Well, all right then.
So-
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I play a game and I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
That's right. I knew you'd love it the most. All right. So as you and I are both Borderlands fans, but I wouldn't go as far to say Borderlands super fans. Like we enjoy playing Borderlands, but we're not like fully in the cult of Borderlands. No pun intended. And so we showed off a trailer for Borderlands 4. And I have got to tell you, at least what they showed in this trailer, this thing does not have the juice, as far as I can tell right now.
There comes a time in your life when what is that Bible quote? It was like when I was a child, I played with childish things.
Mm-hmm.
And now, as a man, I don't play with childish things or whatever. I don't know. Look, this game is not. I have aged out. I have aged out of whatever this is selling me. I put up with the like Mad Max ish aesthetic because I thought the writing was clever in a vulgar kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
But I also used to watch South Park. You know what I mean? Like, and it just I don't watch that anymore. And I don't play this anymore. Like this is from this trailer. It just does. It seems like it's a Borderlands game,
Yeah.
and it seems like it's gonna have the same type of, you know, 12th grade humor that these games have always had. And if you like it, that's great. I'm not fucking downing you, but this series doesn't seem like it's moving forward.
Yeah. It feels like
And
it's stuck in like Arrested Development to some extent.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with it. Like I could give a shit about the story, about the lore of the Borderlands universe. It does have lore in the universe. I'm slightly aware of some of it. I really kind of tuned out of that part of Borderlands 3. For me, it's all about the gameplay. Borderlands has kind of been the same game that it is for its entire run. Obviously,
Yeah.
the Telltale versions of it notwithstanding. And there's so many good ARPGs that are out there right now. There just are that have a much more rewarding gameplay loop. So unless this thing comes out and just like blows my socks off and it's just like, oh my god, like they're completely reinventing the formula and keeping what works and really like changing the game, which I don't think is going to be the case. This might be a pass for me. Look, there's a lot of good games coming out next year, a lot. So we'll see what happens there. We got a double whammy of announcements from Yakuza slash Like a Dragon developer Ryuga Gotoku. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'm just going to call him RGG because that's what people
There
call
you
him.
go.
They are making a new Virtual Fighter game, which I think was a huge surprise for everybody out there. And there's a question about Virtual Fighter in the post office when we get there a little bit later on. But also they revealed a new game coming from them called that right now is just called Project Century. And let me tell you, as somebody who has never really been drawn into like the action oriented Yakuza slash Like a Dragon games, this looked very cool and has me very intrigued to see what this is going to be.
Yeah, I'm a big RGG fan. Anything they put their label on, I'm probably gonna play it, and there's a good chance I'm gonna enjoy it. Them making a virtual fighter, I mean, just this alpha like cell phone video
Mm-hmm.
of Virtual Fighter 6, I mean, it looked great, man.
Yeah.
It looked phenomenal. And for the uninitiated, Virtual Fighter is like the 3D fighting game. Like Virtual Fighter is to 3D fighting games what Street Fighter is to 2D fighting games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's Tekken. Tekken is very much a Virtual Fighter clone, and
And a little bit more accessible. Actually, a better corollary is like Street Fighter is to like King of Fighters as Tekken is to Virtual Fighter. I think would be
yeah,
a better way to
yeah,
kind of compare the two.
yeah. I think you're right, and it is. Look, Virtual Fighter is. I don't have the reverence for it that a lot of people do because I was introduced to Tekken first, right? Just like I don't have as much disdain for Ghostbusters 2 as most people do because
Mm-hmm.
like Ghostbusters 2 was the first Ghostbusters I saw. Then I saw the first one and was like, what is this derivative bullshit? I was like, oh wait, it's the other way around.
Well, I guess we'll ask Film Wanderers. Part of Film Wanderers' question, post office question here: who is your favorite Virtual Fighter character and favorite game in the series? I do not have one of either because I have literally never played a Virtual Fighter, ever.
One of the Bryants, either Jackie or Sarah, because they use Jeet Kune Do, and Jeet Kune Do is super flashy and easy to like kind of pick up and understand. So yeah, it would probably be one of the two Bryants. So I'll just say Sarah Bryant because it
Yeah.
looks like she's going to be in this.
But yeah, the Project Century trailer. I don't know, like your impressions as someone who is like an RGG fan. Like, do you think this is just going to be a reskin version of the old Yakuzas? Do you think there's going to be any correlation to like the Lost Judgment series, or do you think this will be like a whole new thing that even plays differently than those other games?
I kind of want it to be different. You know, they have kind of mastered this, you know, like medium-sized open world, um, you know, hybrid beat 'em up slash RPG kind of formula.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be what Like a Dragon is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see something a little bit different. Uh, the Judgment series is a little bit different from Yakuza, but like only in that they give you other things to do besides walk around and beat people up and
Mm-hmm.
then go to story missions, right? I want something a little different. Now I don't know if I'm gonna get that with this, but you know, I guess it might be one of those things where if you're really good at something, like just keep perfecting it.
Right.
And look, maybe a brand new change of scenery and a new cast of characters will affect me in a positive way, right? Like Judgment is essentially the same goddamn game,
Right.
right? You're just playing it from a different perspective. So and you know they tried some like when they tried when they turned it into a turn-based RPG, that's the kind of difference that I'm talking about.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I want something. I want a brand new type of game, and then now they just kind of flip flop, right? The next Yakuza game is going to be a beat 'em up style game set in Hawaii with
Mhm.
like pirates and shit, right? So they have, but they still have the Like a Dragon series going in the RPG sense. So, you don't
So
burn yourself out.
basically, what we're saying, RGG firing in all cylinders right now,
Yeah,
and
man.
Sega rolling in between them and Atlas rolling in the bucks
Yeah,
right now.
man.
So I I only bring up Warframe 1999 announcing that it is now out to just let everyone know, fucking once I thought I was out, they fucking pull me back in. Like I'm ready to jump back into Warframe. I miss that fucking game. I do, and I'm gonna give it some time because Path of Exile 2 is very much in its infancy, and I don't feel the need to dedicate a shitload of time to it in early access because there's a lot of stuff that they need to work on, especially the end game. So like I'm like, do I have time to play Warframe? It's like maybe I can make time to play Warframe. So we'll see what happens there. One of the big surprises, actually, let's just talk about both of them here. The platonic ideal for me of what a video game publisher should be is what Capcom is right now. I think I said this in the Discord, but I'll reiterate it here on the show. I fucking love that Capcom is putting out games that they don't expect to sell 5 million, 10 million, 15 million copies. And that they're perfectly content with letting people just make really good games that a small segment of gamers will really enjoy. And they're not worried about making all the money because they know that between Resident Evil, between Monster Hunter,
Monster Hunter.
and between Street Fighter, they'll be doing just fine as far as the financials go. We saw it last year when they released Exoprimal, a game about killing a bunch of like fucking velociraptors that no one really cared about, but apparently it was actually
It was
quite
fun.
decent.
I,
Yeah,
I played a little bit of it. It was fun.
yeah. We saw it this year with something that I'm blanking on right now, but I know that they released. I know they released a game this year that was like more of a appeal to like a smaller subset, and I just had it in my head, and now I can't fucking remember what it was, and it's gonna bother me that I can't remember it. Oh, Kunitsugami they released this year, which is like a strategy game, which I just got actually. So I'm gonna check that out when I get a chance. But I've heard really good things about it. But they announced 2 more trailers for games. One game that people have been clamoring for a really long time, and one game that people thought we would never ever see again. The one that people have been asking for is Onimusha. We actually just talked about it last week in the post office. Someone asked a question about it. Apparently, Capcom listens to the show because in 2026 they are releasing a new Onimusha game, Onimusha: Way of the Sword.
All right.
That's
I
cool.
mean, look, that's dope, man. Like Onimusha was Resident Evil with, but in Japan, in feudal Japan. Like, all right, and it was in the era where zombies were still like the zombies were ramping up to be the monster, that everyone loved to kill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, man. All right, bring it. Good.
And the second thing they announced, and this was the surprise, they have now begun production on a Okami sequel, which I don't think. And not only have they started production, but Hideki Kamiya is now heading a new studio called Clovers, a not very subtle nod to his prior Capcom studio in Capcom, which I would imagine means that he is going to be there to work on not just this, but several other games. And a lot of people lost their fucking mind when they saw the announcement for this. Look, I've never played Okami. I remember I tried to play Okami when it came out on the Wii, and I just didn't. Maybe because it was on the Wii, I didn't get into it.
It was on the Wii. Yeah.
Yeah. this seeing this and seeing people's reaction to it has been spurred me to be like, you know what? I guess it's time to give Okami a try at this point.
I mean, do you like old school Zelda
You
games?
know that I do. You know
Then
that I
you'll
do.
love Okami, man.
Well, guess
Like
what? I
you'll
already
love
bought it. I bought it on Steam because it's on sale for $5 right now. So, so
Look, this is gonna be the best $5 you ever spent. I'm telling you,
I can't wait.
Okami is great. Okami is a great game, and just when you think you're done with Okami, you're not done with Okami.
That I know.
And
I know that there is a that there's a rug pool or like a symphony that
yeah,
esque moment in the game that you know.
yeah, man. It was such a. I mean, look, like it's such a good game, man. It's just a well-made ass game starring a dog, Brad. If I'm recommending a game
I'm about to say
with a dog,
that must speak highly of it if you're recommending it above all else.
yeah, man.
So that's cool. Very excited for people that are very excited about that, and I hope to be one of those people after I play the first Okami. And then finally, like the big end of the night reveal was the reveal of Naughty Dog's new game in a new series, the first time since 2013 that Naughty Dog is working on a game in a new series, if you can believe that. And that is going to be Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet, which looks to be
brought to you by
yeah
Adidas, Sony, and Porsche.
yes.
I mean, look, it's a new Naughty Dog game, and it's a science fiction game. So,
And it looks like a melee focus game, which could be very interesting. Like they could take that a number of different directions.
yeah, like I'm very curious about this. Product placement notwithstanding. Look, I know product placement is like gonna happen because like how else is Naughty Dog gonna get a game funded, right? If it doesn't have product placement in it, how else are they gonna get it funded?
Well, here's my qualm with it, I guess you could say. And I said the same thing about fucking Concord. Not that this is going to be a Concord, but I said the same thing about Concord. I get that like Guardians of the Galaxy is really popular, but like, can we please stop coming up with sci-fi properties that just like have the Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic? Because you're bemoaning the product placement. When I see stuff like that, like when I see someone like wearing like and messing around with very 1980s coded things, and I see them pop on a disc in their Sony Discman, playing the Pet Shop Boys like iconic 80s songs and shit like that, that's where my mind goes immediately. It's just thinking of fucking Star-Lord. You know what I mean?
But like that's the way they get, people in their 40s now, right? Like to try and hit you with the member berries and feel like you're in it, right? Like I hear you. I'm more of a, and look, it's part of the styles clash that is supposed to make it intriguing, right? Like like peanut butter and chocolate, right? Like cowboys in space, right?
This looks like you got a Guardians of the Galaxy in my Starfield. It was like my immediate thought when I saw this trailer. So, not to say the game will be anything like that, but that's that's where my mind went immediately when I saw it. So
yeah, and my mind went, why is there a commercial for the commercial in the commercial? Why are there product placement? Like if the product placement is in the game, fine. Do we have to highlight it in the trailer, which is a commercial for the game?
well, you got to know that the main character is is fucking legit, Micah.
Yeah, apparently, it's also very disheartening to see like all these major ass corporations are still around.
Here's my concern.
Porsche's making spaceships.
Well, I'm about to say here's my concern is like Porsche is putting licensing in the game. I sure hope this game doesn't go the way that Forza Horizon 4 just went over the weekend, and that's delisted because of issues with licensing around car brands and music. So
Yeah.
just throw that out there as a just in case.
Uh,
So hopefully Sony got their shit tight. But look, at the same time, like when they flash the PlayStation logo and it's the fucking old school like PS1 style PlayStation logo with the colors, like I'm gonna pop every time. Like what the fuck? Like I'm only human. What do you want from me? So I'm intrigued to learn more. As someone who never got into The Last of Us, but really liked Uncharted. Really, actually, Uncharted is the only Naughty Dog series that I like. Come to think of it, like I've never been a fan of any of their other series
yeah,
that they
because
put out.
can we be honest about like Naughty Dog and their games? Like, it is their games are style over substance, right? They have incredible production value, and that goes a long way in delivering an experience. But Uncharted's gunplay isn't exactly anything to write home about. The Last of Us stealth elements aren't exactly anything to write home about, right? Like but people remember those games. People remember those games fondly,
Mm-hmm.
but what do they remember them for? It's not the moment to
Yeah,
moment
it's
action.
it's
It's the
the big
story,
moments and
right?
the
The big moments,
bombastic.
the stories, the characters. You know, so I'm expecting that from this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not expecting like you said. This seems to be somewhat melee focused. I'm not expecting, you know, I'm not expecting Devil May Cry.
Right,
You know what I mean?
or like a Souls type experience.
Right, right.
Right.
It would be I would be shocked if that happened, and I'd welcome it. But these games in particular that this studio makes have to be very, very accessible to people,
Yeah.
especially if you got Porsche money, backing you. You want everybody to buy this thing so they can hopefully one day buy a Porsche Cayenne spaceship or
Look,
some shit.
I'd be perfectly happy owning an Audi one day. I think that would be a good thing to aspire to. It's the same company, by the way, just so that people know.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that being said, the big reveal kind of falling flat for the two of us to some extent. Still, like a really good fucking lineup of reveals and announcements in this one. I think that there was at least like most people out there, I would imagine popped for at least like two of the things that got shown, if not more. And look, if these games can live up to the hype that they have instilled in all of us, we'll see. But could be could be a talked about event for quite some time. And look, Kojima was even there and didn't have a trailer or anything to show off at all. He just presented an award and went away.
Yeah. You think you'll ever get a Game Awards without him
No,
while he's alive?
no, no. Unless for some reason like he's stuck in Japan and can't travel for like act of God reasons, essentially. Like, no, I'm pretty sure he'll always be there. And even if he can't make it out in person, he will, I'm sure, record something
Yeah,
on video.
yeah, he'll record something.
That he'll put out there. So no, you will always see Hideo Kojima at every Game Awards while he is breathing air on this earth.
Speaking of people barely hanging on to breathing air, they had Harrison Ford out there.
They did.
They had Harrison Ford out
They
there.
did. They
And
did.
they had him
and
out
you,
and come
you
right
could tell.
oh
He
yeah,
yeah, he was on brand. He was completely on brand. You could tell before he went out there, made sure the check it cleared, all that jazz.
right.
Like he was good to go.
Right.
Fucking telling the prompter to scroll past some dumb shit that he didn't fucking feel like saying. That's
Right.
dude. I love Harrison Ford. I love him so much. Not just for his like him as an actor, who I enjoy a lot as an actor, but also just for his just inability to even fake bullshit.
Yeah, man.
Like,
Isn't he hitting? Isn't he like reaching 80 or
he
something
is
like
in his
that?
80s.
Like
He's
in his
80s.
80s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck that.
Dude. Remember, he was in his like mid 30s when Star Wars was happening. So
Yeah.
he's
So I was
old as
like,
shit.
Get out of here.
But he's always
He's
been that
82,
way.
man.
He's always been that way though.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like he's always been that guy. Absolutely. Like, and again, like
Yeah.
you see it all the time. Like when fans fans get really fucking excited about it. He's just like, bro, he's like I did this for money. Like I'm not into this shit like you
Right.
are. Like this is my
Right.
job.
Especially Star Wars. He couldn't give a fuck about Star
Right.
Wars.
Like, dude,
It's
like I
all you
said,
people who love
he's
Han
the real
Solo.
he's like I said, he's the realest fucking actor in Hollywood, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, man.
Sitting on his fucking Montana ranch with Callista Flockhart, just being like, dude, I'm rich as shit, and I'm fucking old, and I'm gonna be dead in 10 years. So, like, look, if you want me to come out, better pay me. I'll say what you want me to say, as long as it's not too stupid, and then we'll move on. There you go. There's a good. But before we take our last break, who is going to be next year's? I can't believe that celebrity is showing up at the Game Awards. Person.
Oh man. Yo, um if this new game, if this intergalactic the Heretic Prophet comes out, Kumail Nanjiani, I don't know.
He's
He
not
looked
big
like
enough
he's in that
to
game.
wear. Like I would fully expect to see Camille Nanjiani show up at the Game Awards.
Yeah, you're right. I have no idea. I have no idea.
It's hard, right? Because
Is,
it's got to be someone that's in like the rarefied air, to be
yeah,
like
it's
it's
gotta be like a
unbelievable.
Robert Redford or some shit. You know what I mean? Like,
You know what? Helen
like
Mirren.
something.
It's gonna be Helen Mirren that's gonna show up. I don't know why yet, but for some reason she is.
Well, she was in those Fast movies, a couple of
What
them. So,
was she?
yeah, she was. She played Jason. She played Jason Statham's mother.
Oh, then
in
fucking
those movies.
forget about putting her. If she's willing to
Right.
degrade herself to be in the Fast movie series, she doesn't deserve that level of stature. In terms of like, oh, she won't show up at the Game Awards. She might show up with Vin Diesel for like Arc 2 next year.
Right,
when he
right.
pops out
She,
on stage or
yeah,
something.
yeah. That's nothing for her, man.
This is hard, man. Like Schwarzenegger is someone that you would kind of like you wouldn't be shocked to see him, like that kind of thing. I tried to cancel the video games when I was governor. You guys wouldn't let me do it. Now I'm here.
No, and he would do it. He would do it. He was in, that secret level I talked about. He's in that.
Oh, is he really?
He's in he's in one of the shorts, and he's really funny actually in it. So yeah, he would do it. See, that's the issue, right? Like, you got to have somebody in like you got to have somebody like a Harrison Ford in his 80s, like don't give a fuck, like a Clint Eastwood.
Oh,
type,
you know what?
I mean?
De
Like,
Niro. De Niro's the guy.
you think he? You think? Nah, I think he would, man. I think he would show up. I
But
think
that's what I'm saying. It would still
something
be
like that.
shocking to see Robert De Niro show up at like the Game Awards. Actually, you know what? I'll give you another one. I don't know if he can get around because like the last I saw of like pictures of him, he's not looking too good nowadays. Jack Nicholson showing up at the Game Awards would also be.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, they wheel him out of like the Hannibal Lecter thing, like these guys gave me a script to talk at your awards show. I've never really played a video game, so. All right.
Which one of these old Italian gangster movies has their cast still alive? Maybe they'll come out for like Mafia.
Well,
the old country.
that's why I suggested De Niro. Like De Niro
Yeah.
is available. James Caan is dead, so can't be James Caan. And we already got Al Pacino. So
Yeah, we already did Al Pacino. Yeah, you're right. It's Robert De Niro. All right, look, place bets now.
shit. How about either him or Joe Pesci? I'll take either one. Actually,
Yo, I would love to see Joe Pesci at the Game Awards.
that would be legitimately fucking hilarious. So, all right, let's take our last break. We'll be back with a very quick look around the news and then to the post office. Just to tie a bow on the Joe Pesci thing, I was watching the Home Alones last night because they were on TV. I don't think Joe Pesci gets enough credit for how good a job he did in both Home Alone movies. Like he apparently he was an asshole like while they were being filmed, but like he went all in on that shit.
He kind of carries those movies, man.
Yeah.
Like, they star Macaulay Culkin as your protagonist, but there's only so much he can do.
Absolutely. So and again, Daniel Stern, I'm gonna put it out there right now. Daniel Stern, probably the most underrated comedic actor of the 1990s. Like he was just in so much shit and good in everything, and then he just went away.
Yeah.
But there's that. Quick couple bits of news here. To the
Speaking of going away.
surprise, yes, speaking of going away, to the surprise of literally nobody, Ubisoft has decided that it is going to wind down and end support for its first-person shooter, xDefiant. The really bad news is that as a result of this, they're going to be closing down their studios in San Francisco, Osaka, and Sydney. Well, downsizing in Sydney, closing the other two. Again, just a chalk another fucking Ubisoft. Like, we're chasing a trend without a real plan, except we want to make money, and let's spend fucking millions of dollars in time to develop this thing that we just want to become an ATM card for us, and we're not going to put too much thought into it beyond that. And I don't mean to shit on the work of the developers that made this game. I'm sure that they poured their hearts and souls into it, and I appreciate the work that they did. But again, when the guiding light of the game is fucking let's print money, and you don't give people a reason to actually want to play your game, especially when you are releasing it into a hyper competitive market where there are a handful of really established players that it's really difficult to move people off of to a new title. What did you expect was going to happen?
Yeah, it's like you said, there's no forethought to it seems like anything that Ubisoft does nowadays in terms of sustainability, in terms of, they just see, this made a lot of money, so let's do it now. They're like the 49ers, after but like late to the party, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I hear there's gold in them dar hills. Well, so we got a hill over here. Well, no, the gold's over there, guys. You
Yeah.
got to put in the work to get there.
Or why
And
don't
they
you
don't
try?
want
Why
to.
don't you try digging into a different mine, other than the one that
Yeah,
everyone's been excavating from for the last several years? And
right.
this isn't a separate news story, but I think that I think it's worth mentioning. So apparently, Ubisoft is in like serious talks with Tencent now for Tencent to basically buy the company, like buy the Guillemot brothers shares, and to take a controlling interest in Ubisoft. Apparently, the hang up on the deal is that the Guillemots want to retain control of the company, like directive control, operational control of the company, and Tencent's not really keen on that. Which, if I'm Tencent, I don't blame you, considering
Yeah.
that
What?
why would you keep the dudes in charge that have run the company down, flailing at a strategy over the last decade or so?
Yeah, what kind of deal is that? Is it like, hey guys,
One that I don't understand why the Guillemot brothers think that they have the leverage to make.
right? Hey,
I'm pretty sure that when they're like, hey, like, we want you to, they went to Tencent and were like, hey, we want you to buy us out, and Tencent was like, yes, we would like to do that, and then they were like, but we'd like to remain in control of the company. The next question out of Tencent's mouth was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
right. My French is a little bad, but
Right.
no.
Yeah, like again, like especially if you're buying this asset and like you're gonna put it right back into the hands of the people who have devalued it to the point where you can actually afford to buy this asset. Like, it doesn't seem like a winning proposition. Now, not saying that Tencent buying Ubisoft will be the what ails the cure to fix what ails Ubisoft. If anything, it could make it even worse, because this could be a move that would pivot them towards like a more you know free to play gotcha style model, because Tencent loves to dabble in that shit. But I don't think the Gima brothers really need any more wax at the pinata, as it were. So
Are they okay? Like, they're operating like, man, we've been riding high. Let's spend all our money on cocaine. And then they're just like doing a bunch of coke,
you know what
and then
is
they realize, oh shit, we're running out of cocaine. We need to hurry up and make something quick.
you know what weirdly it kind of reminds me of, and this will be a prescient analogy for you and I specifically, It reminds me like the Gima brothers are kind of sitting in the Roger Moore James Bond era where they guided this franchise that was like the envelope pushing action series at the beginning, and it wowed everybody. And then they kind of sat on their laurels and just kind of churned out the same bullshit. Meanwhile, all their competitors kind of raised the stakes of the genre around them. And then when you get to the Roger Moore era, especially once we get to like Moonraker onward, all of a sudden, like the Broccolis are playing catch up behind the rest of Hollywood. That's why you got James Bond Star Wars. That's why you got like James Bond at the circus. That's why that's why you get that kind of shit. That's why you got James Bond Die Hard in terms of like License to Kill. And so and then it took, getting back to kind of like the GoldenEye series, getting back to basics to an extent, and then really resetting things with Daniel Craig James Bond movies to really, for the Bond franchise to really reinvent themselves. The Gima brothers,
for them to do it again. Only for them to chase a trend again.
Yeah.
And just I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I'm saying that's where the Gima brothers are right now. They came out of the gate, helped shepherd, Assassin's Creed and Ghost Recon and a bunch of other series that, were really popular and did really good things. And they've kind of sat back and rested on their laurels for the mid 2010s. And now they're behind and they need to chase trends to try to get back on top. But they're just not doing it as well as the people who originated those trends.
Jesus, man.
So we'll see what happens there. But another I can't wait to see if we have another Ubisoft story before the end of the year, because it's certainly possible, I feel like. But we'll see what happens. Bet you didn't think that you would find the United Healthcare shooter story here on Dense Pixels, but it's on our other podcast in the network this week, so we might as well talk about it here as well. We are only talking about it because this has a local and video game connection to it. The suspect in the shooter, the alleged shooter, I should say, because he has been arrested at this point, Luigi Mangione, is a local boy, apparently from Maryland. Went to Gilman High School, which is a very preppy private high school in the Baltimore area. And after he got out of college, or actually I think while he was in college, was a QA intern at Firaxis. And he worked on Civilization 6.
Wow.
Here in Maryland. So,
wow.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the internship.
Yeah.
Part.
Yeah, he was a UI programming intern. So thanks to Luigi Mangione, apparently he squashed more than 300 user interface bugs in Civ 6. So I can thank him personally for making my Civilization 6 experience better than it could have been. So thank you, Luigi Mangione, for your work on Civilization 6.
He took his bug squashing skills to some sort of fame.
Yeah.
Look, man, you know what? It'll be interesting to see what happens to that guy.
It will be interesting to see what happens to that guy. Jay, like I said, I thought I had been radicalized by the results of this past election. Jay has been super radicalized.
No, Jay don't give a fuck, man. Jay don't give a fuck, man. Like, he's just like, nope. I don't know. He won't say that he's glad the guy's dead.
he's walking right into that line, though.
Right.
He's walking right into that line. I respect it. Oh my goodness. Also, too, there was a I can't remember what it was during. There was a joke about it was the Squid Game trailer during the Game Awards about like, oh, you better watch out, CEOs. Like, we've got like a VIP section for you here in the Squid Games. I'm like, whoa, I was like, they forgot to take that one out. It's like, good job, guys.
Oh shit!
And then I was listening to Remap's coverage of the Game Awards, and like Rob Zachney made a joke when Mafia came on about like, well, the popularity of Italian assassins has never been higher in this current day and age. So, oh shit! Finally, if have you out there made an ill-advised purchase in Fortnite? Well, you may be entitled to compensation. The United States FTC is finally ready to start handing out the $72 million in refunds that they have collected from Epic Games. That will be going to about 629,000 Fortnite customers that were impacted by the Federal Trade Commission lawsuit against Epic, where they alleged and were settled with them that they tricked users into spending money on the platform due to how like their user interface was designed, and things of that nature. So basically, each affected person will get around $114 from the FTC if you successfully file a claim. So I don't know how many of our listeners played Fortnite back when, but hey, if you think you made some purchases that you were tricked into, go get your money from Epic and enjoy.
There you go.
It's more just really just a public service announcement, not even a news story so much.
There you go.
That'll take us directly to the Dense Pixels post office. If you are not already, you can join our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans and ask us questions that we'll answer on the show every single week. Jamal coming in late last week with his top 3 Game of the Year games: Metaphor Refantasio, Octopath Traveler 2, and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Johnny put a meme up about the referencing the CM Punk press conference in AEW, but basically talking about Astrobot director Nicholas Doucette giving props to Nintendo without naming them during his Game of the Award acceptance speech. Any thoughts on that one, or did you just find it to be a humorous moment?
I found it funny, and he probably did the right thing because he probably didn't want to say Nintendo's name and get sued by them.
That's not the direction I thought you were going to go, but that's very good. That's very good. Mad Coco G, again, not a question. Who knew Japanese game devs and the ladies really loved both Snoop and gin and juice? I find it funny, like, anytime any, like, nostalgia act or act that was, like, really popular many years ago, does some kind of a concert, be it, like, in, like, a Game Awards situation like this, or like they perform at like WWE or something stupid like that, they can never just play the new shit. Like they always have to fucking bring it back and play like, you know, like the hits that that you remember, right?
Oh yeah, they know who they're playing to, especially like gamers and shit, right? Like they know who they're playing to. Now, I missed all the there weren't any like performances.
No, the only performances were Snoop. They did a performance of some of the music from the League of Legends animated series, which apparently is very good. They did like Okami was announced with a musical performance, and then of course they did like the Game of the Year medley that they do every year as well. So
okay,
with Flute Guy reach into his box of tricks, I swear to God, he was playing a different bespoke instrument on every single part of that medley. He's just like, what are the most obscure instruments I could think of? I'm gonna play them all. It's one thing just to have like, you know, he busts out his flute, he's got his bass flute. Like, all right, that's fucking old hat. We've seen that shit before. Let me get like the fucking like East Indian fucking like the snake charmer horn. I don't know what it's actually called. That's like the thing that I can think of. But like he busted that shit out. He busted this thing that looked like a flute tuba. I was a musician for a long time, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that thing is, but I'm pretty sure he's one of like 5 guys on the planet that know how to play it. So, Cam asks me, a package pile driver was finally used in WWE after being teased off and on for 10 years. Explain yourself. Of course, I am Kevin Owens. Yeah, we did finally get a package pile driver, which looked very good, by the way. I have to say, like the pile driver that he did on Randy Orton, you know, looked protected, looked very protected. This one looked really good. Like they did a really good fucking job with it. Again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I love this shit. I love the fact that they're, you know, bringing this back in a limited capacity just so they can like really drive home the danger of the situation. I sincerely hope that Cody Rhodes is not seen on television for like 3 weeks and when he comes back is wearing like a neck brace, like
Yeah,
kind of shit.
the rumor and the scuttlebutt is that he is being given holiday time
Okay,
off.
cool.
So you probably won't see him until January 6th.
I love it.
Yeah, you got to sell it. Yeah, like that's how you sell violence, right? Not just bleeding as soon as you take a punch.
Right.
Take a worked punch and then you start gushing. Like,
Yeah. Like we haven't
calm
seen
down.
Randy Orton since he got pile drove by Kevin
Yeah.
Owens. So like,
Also, it's a good way to recycle talent. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Not everybody can be at the top at the same time. Not everybody can share the same TV time. You know what I mean? So use this opportunity to kind of get some of these other people more TV time and sell that fucking pile driver. Make it a big fucking deal, right? Like replay clips of well, you can't replay the Stone Cold one
No,
because
no.
but yeah,
Hey,
make it a big
you
deal.
don't want to replay the ones where real injuries happen. Like that's a
Yeah.
little that's
Yeah.
a little gauche. But
Yeah, but yeah, make it a big deal, man. Make it a
yeah,
big deal. I'm very curious about this whole Netflix thing. We shall see.
we shall see. I'm also curious to see where they take the KO Cody feud because obviously it's not over now. Like, but the question is like, is this like Cody's Royal Rumble opponent, or do they find a way to stretch this all the way to WrestleMania? Like, does KO win the Rumble and challenge Cody Rhodes, or something along those lines?
I don't know. I like the idea of giving Kevin Owens a main event slot one of those nights. They have an opportunity. They have a real opportunity to because like everybody loves heel Kevin Owens. They have a real opportunity here to make something of this, especially if Cody's going to be on a break for a while. Like you said, they could. They could. I don't know if I'd have Kevin Owens. Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah, for this to work, like Kevin Owens would probably have to win the Royal Rumble.
What if you? Again, it depends on how badly they're going to sell this injury. What if it's so bad that, and again, like this kind of like this, I thought of this last night. This serves multiple masters in a way because it protects Cody somewhat. You don't have to have him take a pinfall loss. What if they strip him of the title due to injury? They award the title to whoever wins the Royal Rumble. KO wins the Royal Rumble. Then somehow Cody comes back and and they fight at WrestleMania. Like that I think could work well as well. Look, they've
Yeah,
set
that
themselves
could
up with
work.
a variety of things to do. You love to
Yeah,
see it. And
that's the
again,
goal, right?
I fucking love the righteous heel who is a scumbag and you hate him, but you're forced to also admit the man's got a point. I can't
Yeah, I mean,
I can't argue with him that much. And again, that heel historically gets rewarded for their righteousness. Again, the prime example of this is the Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels 6-month feud back in I think '08 is when it
yeah.
was, where Chris Jericho did some real fucking scumbag shit, but at the same time, like he was kind of right, and he got the world title when it was all said and done. So,
Yeah, man.
yep. C. Kent says, I've reached an age where I don't like being inconvenienced anymore to the point where I might ever play a game again if it inconveniences me. What are some things in games that you find inconvenient?
In terms of like what gameplay mechanics and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Like,
or how a game is laid out, that sort of thing.
um, you know what's inconvenient for me? Like, checkpoints that aren't very generous, non-generous checkpoints, man. I don't want to. I don't want to die and then have to replay an hour of work.
Yep.
Like, and unless that's the game, right? Like, I don't want to do that. That is, I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that shit. So yeah, that'll probably be my answer.
What would it be for me? That's a good one. I've been on the record as being a very vociferous checkpoint hater as far as like when they're bad. Again, the one that I will never forget, and this literally made me stop playing this game. So I guess I am going to answer the same thing as you. In Star Wars Force Unleashed, in the second full level, not counting like the Kashyyyk level with Vader, because that's just like a tutorial basically. But in the second full level, there is a checkpoint before I think it was a Rancor fight, if I'm not mistaken. And you fight the Rancor, and then you have to do like a jump, like a platforming thing to get to the next checkpoint. But you can easily die during the platforming section. And if you die during the platforming, which I did, you have to do the mini boss fight all over again.
Nah, yeah.
Which is
Get outta here.
bullshit. Which is fucking bullshit. Unskippable voice dialogue is also something that I'm not a fan of. Like if I'm into the voice acting, I'm here for it. There's especially during like side quests and shit like that. I'm gonna probably just read the fucking words on the screen. Don't make me listen to that shit. Like that. Like some people criticize, like in Metaphor, where they complained that like not enough of the side content was VO'd, and I'm just like, I'm totally okay with that. I can read faster than they can talk, and I don't need to spend 6 minutes during this little side quest scene. So
Yeah.
C-Can also asked, what was our favorite "oh, I'm an adult now" moment? Look, we're both fucking 40-year-old men. We've had countless
Man.
countless of those, man.
I can't think that far back.
When the first time I had to get my roof repaired, like that's a good one. Oh, this costs how much?
Yeah,
oh,
man.
Cool.
Like the first time I had to pay rent, like like it's it's
not even that, because like a roof repair is like something that like that you have to do, but you don't see, like you don't observe like a tangible benefit from it every day. Like you're not like looking at your roof every day, right? Like it's just something that
like unless you have
happen.
like a massive leak, and then that's an emergency,
right? And,
like,
it costs thousands of dollars,
right?
And you know that it pays off, down the road in equity, but at the same time, like you're paying thousands of dollars for this thing that you don't see, like it's know. So that's a good one for me.
I'm getting my HVAC replaced.
Oh, we're doing that this year too. Just got the home equity loan signed up, buddy. Like we're fucking doing it now. Woo! Good times. God, I fucking there you go. That's how you know. There you go. When you take one of your a PTO day from work to go talk to a banker to get the bank to give you more money to do things like replace your windows and your HVAC system. That's how you know.
The trade off money that you already like have and shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you already borrowed this money. You want to borrow it again? Like at interest? Yeah. Like, all right, guys. All right. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God.
Damn.
Let's see. Johnny says, now that you've all played enough Metaphor, I have to ask, since this wasn't a real option in the game, who would you have romanced if there was a romance option?
I appreciate the fact that the game did not have a romance option.
It wouldn't have been appropriate in this game. So.
No, it wouldn't have. If I did, it would have been Hulkenberg, because I like strong women. Because I have an adequate penis size, and I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of strong women or playing them as them. So yeah, I like Hulkenberg a lot. Like there's a point where you can spend an evening with any one of your team, and I spent it with Hulkenberg because I like Hulkenberg. I think she's cool.
I don't think it would have been anyone in my party. Like all of my party members were like my bros. Like I didn't feel any kind of like I would have romanced this person if I could have in this game. So it probably would have been someone from like my social links, I think. Trying to think which social link that I really like the most, that I just like always take whenever I had the opportunity. Wasn't like Katarina. Alonso was cool. He was kind of a he was a bit of a sneaky fuck. He was a cool dude, though.
Yeah, he was like he was like the Gambit of the group, and everyone
Yes.
loves Gambit.
Oh man, who else we got here that would be good? Oh, no, Brigida was too dour
No,
for my
no, Brigida
liking.
was yeah, Brigida was I don't know if it's a spoiler to say the one person that I'm thinking of, but she is the sister of one of the characters.
The sister of one of the characters. Oh, I could see that. I could see that if that was an
Yeah.
option in the game. Certainly could. Yeah, Alonzo I thought was probably the most interesting side character, and I tend to gravitate towards the people that I find most interesting. So
Yeah, here's when that story played out, I was like, my jaw hit the floor before, right before it ended. I was like, oh shit, like,
not even that, but like even like midway through his story, like when the inciting
yeah,
incident kicks off, and it's just
yeah,
like, god damn. Like I'm like some of those fucking like because again like we're used to Persona where it's just like hey I'm hanging out with my bros and we're doing high school shit so like some of those side quest lines are a bit surprising in this game coming from the Persona perspective. So Phil Wander says I'm very late on my favorite games of 2024 but just know my number one is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, number two Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, number three because I think I like crack, Vampire Survivors. Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Mikey, you still got to get on that shit.
I do. I have to. You know what? It might be on Apple Plus. Let me check or Arcade
Do you want to play
Plus
that
or
on your
whatever.
phone?
I've never played it. I have no idea
I
what
don't
that
know that
game is.
I don't necessarily know. I mean, you know what? Actually, you could play that on your phone because literally the only controls in the game are just moving the character around the screen. So
Okay, as long as it's not like precise platforming,
no, it's
it's
certainly
fine.
not that. It's certainly not that. And finally, Vic Bear 66 says playing through RoboCop and in Indiana Jones has renewed my interest in movie related video games. Are there any film properties that you would like to see get this kind of treatment? I'd personally like to see a semi-open world James Bond game in the vein of Hitman with romance options, gadgets, and someone doing a Sean Connery impersonation. Well, Vic Bear, have we got some good news for you, friendo? Because in case you didn't hear, IO Interactive, makers of Hitman, are working on a James Bond game that's supposed to come out in the next couple of years. We don't
Yeah,
know what it's going to be yet, but we'll see.
we shall see. I like the Hitman franchise, but I hope it's not that, right? I hope it's not Hitman with a James Bond skin on it. Any film properties that I would like to see get this kind of treatment? Uh, not not off the top of my head. I mean, I think RoboCop is very cool. I think you are 100% right. They understand the assignment,
Yeah.
right? If anyone has played that game and the first trophy isn't the shoot the guy in the dick trophy, you're playing the game wrong. Yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head. Let's see if I can.
I think I can't think of a specific franchise, but like doing what they did with RoboCop and Indiana Jones, like taking established known franchises, but putting them into new scenarios in those franchises and not relying on an old like basing it off of the old movies. Like that's the way. That's the way to do
Yeah,
it. To kind of capture the spirit of the thing but give it a new one. And we saw that shit before. Like it's not like as good as these two games, but like that Ghostbusters video game that came out back in 2010 was pretty much like a Ghostbusters 3. Like they got all the actors back. It was in the same tone and spirit as the Ghostbusters movies, and that was pretty fucking good. So that's exactly the kind of thing to go to. So like Mike is right. Nothing jumps to mind immediately from a franchise standpoint as far as what I'd like to see, but I hope they continue to do sort of thing. I hope that's what the James Bond game from IO is a, like I said, taking all the established things that we know about James Bond. I don't need it to be like an origin story, or I don't need it to be like, just make a James Bond game, a new James Bond story, kind of like they used to do with like Nightfire and No One Lives Forever and that kind of shit back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'd be dope.
Yep. So that does it for the post office. Thank you guys very much for submitting your questions, and that'll also do it for the show this week. So again, don't forget to join our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans. You can check out the show on YouTube by going to youtube.com/densepixels and subscribing there, or you can subscribe to the show wherever you download your podcast just by searching out Dense Pixels. You can also find all of the other TNP Studio shows like the Nerdpocalypse, Black and Black Cinema, and Look Forward. And of course, if you want the full Look Forward episode every single week, make sure you go to densepixels.com/premium and pay your $5 a month to get premium content, and that'll get you access to Look Forward plus any other premium shows that we do put out. This is going to be it for us for 2024. We're going to take our typical 2-week holiday break here at the end of the year. So, you guys, you and yours, enjoy whatever holiday it is you celebrate. Enjoy some time with your family. Play lots of video games. And we'll be back in 2025 to talk about it all with you guys. Until next time, thank you all very much for watching and listening. We'll see you later.
Have a happy new year.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.